go into the detail of the impact of that. But to support, sports and specifically athletics in the country, a lot of our elite runners actually launch their marathon careers in the marathon, because it's an accredited race. The timings that you received here, you're able to, participate in other key events across the globe. So we've seen a lot of interest, a lot of young guys. Actually, this is a marathon that you rarely find somebody defending, because there's a young boy who will come from Eldoret and just comes and wins that race. So we've seen a lot of growth in the marathon, even from participation. We started by maybe less than 1,000. Now we're into 20,000 plus, and over the years we've hosted over 270 runners. So it's grown.
Yes, and also maybe signing the extension of the deal with AK. Yes. How crucial was that? How important was that?
So AK is, I'd say they're the owners of the marathon, because from a technical aspect, they provide that in terms of route measurement, officiating, the technical officiating of that race. They are the owners of that. So I think we've worked with them since 2003. It's been a very good partnership, also supporting the initiatives and supporting the bank as well. So this year we've renewed the sponsorship to another 5 years, which ensures that the marathon is still here, so it will go beyond 25 years. So I think that is key. It's very important. And if you look at AK's objectives, there's a bit of sustainability, sports action for climate. There's a lot of things that are coming on board that probably was not there in 2003 or in the last 10 years. So there's a lot of, evolution of sports, as I may say, and the bank is way ahead, in working with AK to ensure that, we promote local sports. We also promote, a sustainable event from, our impact to the environment, supporting young elite runners who are coming into the foray, and I think it's a good one. And by extension now, World Athletics accreditation that we're working closely with AK to receive as a marathon. So it will be a World Athletics road label. That's the commitment for this year, and that opens a lot of opportunities for even runners who come and participate in the race.
Wow.
So
Yes, a great one. And I'm sure George Kariki will have to elaborate on how it is important for the race to be accredited by the World Athletics, the World Athletics, and also how crucial will this be, elevating it. Will it elevate to some status? But let's talk about how it's crucial, how the marathon has played an important role to the bank.
So the reason why we started the marathon was to, of course, create awareness around our community initiatives. I mentioned in 2003 that was seeing is believing, and the bank was realized an issue with avoidable blindness. And I think we set a target to raise over $100 US by 2020. But I think we achieved that way ahead of time in 2019. I think over the years in Kenya alone, we did more than 6 million, eye screenings. We did 170 eye interventions, be it surgery interventions, actually just giving back sight. And the impact of that is that once you go through the process, you're able to participate in the economy better. And I think in 2019, we asked, what more can we do? And that's why we shifted to Feature Makers, which has pillars on education, employability to help youths who want to join the job market, prepare for that. And then entrepreneurship, where we give training to startups. This program in collaboration with Strathmore University has also grown over the years, and I think this is a 6th cohort this year. A lot of impact from an economic perspective. We've seen the businesses that go through the 12-week training program, and then they get $1 million bob in seed funding. They've really grown, attracted additional financing, created job opportunities. And these are targeting young people, and both, youth and women. And I think the impact of that is really huge and important for the bank. So it's a platform that we're using to, create awareness around certain, challenges in the economy, and also now drive our sustainability agenda. As a bank, we want to be the most sustainable bank, and by extension, we want the event to be a sustainable marathon. So using sports, we are doing a lot of tree planting. I think we started 2 years ago, where every runner gets a tree. And we've seen a lot of intake and even other organizations coming on board to join the same. This year we are saying we want to stretch that target to plant 5 million trees in the next, 2 million trees in the next 5 years. And this is aligned to, the government's agenda to plant trees, and the county's agenda to plant trees. We also have an association with the county government, and we are working with them to establish a tree nursery and to support, the initiative that they're trying to do around tree planting.
Yes. George, karibu sana, and I've on several occasions that I've covered the marathon, I've seen you really not even having time, running around a lot, busy man during the race, right, as a route or course director over the period. What has this year's edition, what will be some of the key changes to the route?
Thank you, Mondi. I am happy to be in your territory today. This marathon has grown over ages. It started back in 2003, and Athletics Kenya has been behind the success of this marathon. I must tell you that we have had so many changes along the way that have made us reach where we are. The numbers have increased, and that is one of the requirements that World Athletics want today. They want numbers in their events. There before, football was overtaking us in terms of numbers and the fans.
The popularity.
The popularity. And this is what World Athletics wants. So it has decided to also not only concentrate on track events, it has also decided that road events are taken very seriously, and that they should be, we should have more of those events. So that's why we have Stanchart. Stanchart has grown over ages. Today, Stanchart is boasting a population of participants over 20,000. It's going to the range of 25,000, and we are praying that by next year, hoping, having the success of this year, which we intend to achieve, definitely next year we shall be at 30. I have no doubt about that. If we have just had the Nairobi City Marathon, which is just 2 years old, and it's clocking 15, Stanchart is the father of the events, so they should be having more numbers. We have learned our mistakes also along the way, and we have perfected our act.
And what are some of the mistakes that maybe you've learned and perfected?
Changes of routes, time and again, have also costed us with World Athletics, because this race should be a gold race class for World Athletics. It is old enough to be in that status. Aims are they are a very important tool in making Stanchart Marathon achieve that status. And during along the way, we have tried to approach aims so that they can give us the blessings that this race should be classified. And now that we have reached there, it has taken us quite a while. Now that it has reached there and we have approached them, they have agreed to give it that status. And what they only want is for us to have the cost is measured for all the events and presented to them.
And maybe, George, how important is it for the race to become a gold label race, and what must be done?
Yes, it is very important for this to be a gold race series. One, because Athletics Kenya will take it up as a qualifier. As a qualifier for our athletes to international meets like the one that's already taking place in Budapest. It will be a qualifier for the Olympic Games and many other races that are there worldwide. So it's a very important race for Athletics Kenya. Yes.
And apart from the numbers, what should be done technically?
Technically, what we just need to do is to make sure that we abide by the rules. The World Athletics rules, which are the governing rules for all events, all road running events in the world. And that's, we are already there. We have the necessary materials to take us to that level, because we already have the officials who are qualified. We already have, we have the federation, which which is now the next step, and the people who are supposed now to talk to World Athletics direct. And so I don't think we are missing anything. It's just a matter of us taking the step and moving to that level.
Yes, and I believe that maybe of long-term idea is to have it as one of the series, marathon majors. Exactly.
That's why I said we want it to be at that, when it's a good level, it's a race. Yeah, automatically it qualifies to be there, because what the next thing that we'll be talking about is getting, giving the awards that we have to give to the athletes. We have to give the appearance fee, that kind of a thing. Once we start doing that, then definitely it's a major. It's a major.
Maybe just to add on what George is saying, and we've already, so we've looked at the regulation that we need to do as an event. So from measurement is actually our measurer. Our technical director for the marathon is Ibrahim, who actually gives the certification for World Athletics. That one is already on course. We've already done our submissions for this year's marathon to get that label. There are certain elements that you need to take care of in terms of the runner support along the route. So we've increased our water stations. The requirement is to have water station every 2.5 kilometers, which we are implementing for this year's race. In terms of support, release stations, either first aid or you need to take a break. So all those washroom breaks, all that we've taken into consideration. From the health and safety, we actually in contact with the AK doctor, who is going to be our official doctor. So there's a lot of elements that we've already ticked, and the application is now with World Athletics for consideration. As an event, there's also a lot of requirements on the sustainability. I think I was talking about ensuring that the route is healthy for the runners. So in terms of our emissions, we are working with different partners to reduce single-use plastic. Our hydration partner this year, we're going to dispense water in a recyclable, biodegradable material. So there's a lot of things we've taken as an event, and of course with the directive from Athletics Kenya, and also talking to World Athletics, I think we are ready for that next level.
Yes, and what's the projected period? It could be this year, it could be next year?
Yes, I mean, you need to apply maybe 2 weeks before the event and consider it and come and do the officiation. So they'll be part of our race this year. So yes. So the invites are gone out for them to be part of the race, because they have to come, be on ground, work with Athletics Kenya, look at it, and then they give you the accreditation. So yeah.
So George, what pushed the race? Of course, you're the organizers. What pushed you to have it be given the status?
You know, as I have said before, you know, this race, we want it to be a qualifier. That's one thing. The next thing is that this race carries what World Athletics wants, the numbers. This race also qualifies in all aspects. I can attest to that. In all aspects, this race qualifies, and we don't have any, we are not leaving any stone unturned until we get things sorted. Now you can see, you can hear from David that we already have somebody we are inviting, World Athletics. Well, it's not really, they can even appoint one of us because they have done that in the past. You saw during the cross country at Lobo, where they requested one of our technical officials to become the technical delegate. So they can appoint any of us. They appointed Pauline Murumba. The other time they appointed Chemuren Joseph. I'm on that line. They can appoint me. They can appoint Ibrahim. We are all there. We have at least 5 technical officials in this country who can be requested to become the technical delegates for World Athletics, and we represent World Athletics on that sphere.
Yes, and David, how has the marathon distinguished itself, the Nairobi Standard Chartered Marathon distinguished itself from, there were other franchise marathons that were organized by Stanchart. How has Nairobi Marathon stood out?
Number one is our diversity agenda. And I'll talk about the wheelchair. I think we're the only race with a wheelchair category in Africa. I don't know. I don't know of any other race. Maybe George could correct me. He's the expert on that field. But our push for diversity, we've had the wheelchair race since 2003. I think last year we had our biggest participation, 150. And we are making, you know, steps to diversify. Even within that diversity space, we have, last year we had a special race for, you know, people with visual impairment, hearing, other disabilities also coming on board. I think 50 in number. So, and they have a special race as well. They have a special prize, you know, to them to just drive that inclusion. If you look at our participation, it's split between male and female. The gender diversity there is 56 to 44. Yeah.
Yes.
So 44 ladies. I think ladies will overtake the men in that race participation, because if you look at the 10 kilometer and the 5 kilometer, there's a lot of diversity there. And then why we run? That's the important thing. Why we run? We run to impact communities, and I've talked about feature makers and the impact that has in the economy. And those are the things that and how we do it. I think our race has the highest number of volunteers. We look to engage over 1,000 volunteers, and this is drawn from employees and universities as well. And these are the guys who will be on ground to also help us, you know, execute the event itself. So I think it's the human aspect, the reason why we do it, and also the aspiration that we have, and the collaboration that we work with different partners. I mean, you talk about ADAC, they're on board to ensure that, you know, the race is clean as well. You talk about Athletics Kenya to ensure that, you know, it's a technical race. It's not just for fun. We have timing, which is cheap, to ensure that, you know, from a technology perspective, we are running a clean race. So you have to finish, and you have your timing, right?
Yes.
So there's a lot of technology enhancement that we've also done as a race that actually separates us from most of the running races there.
Yes. George, the race has been a platform, a springboard to a number of athletes over the period of time, right? And these athletes who launched their careers, that they've gone on to conquer the world. What does that say about the terrain and the quality of the Nairobi Stanchart?
Well, Nairobi Stanchart has been a very important race to our athletes. As much as it has not been accredited to the status that we want now, it has helped so many of Kenyan athletes. Actually, most of the athletes that have been in this race have been able to compete internationally. All the years, whenever we have the results, we normally post them to the World Athletics portal, so that our athletes can be given an opportunity by the managers or by race organizers outside to pick on them to run in other races. So it has been very important to our athletes, and it has been like a stepboard, whereby once they reach there, everyone wants to get their times. And since we are there as Athletics Kenya, we make sure that once we collect the times, we post them in the World Athletics portal, so that our athletes can have an opportunity to run outside. And that has happened to so many athletes who have now been, they are world beaters. We had Kimeto.
Yes, Dennis.
Kimeto, yeah, Dennis Kimeto is a child of Stanchart Marathon.
Yeah.
Yes, and you could see he became a world champion. He became a world record holder at one point, and that's where we are.
Yeah,
you can see how
makes Stanchart look like a proud father.
It is.
We are in a big way. You look at our ambassador, Henry Wanyoike. You know, he became ambassador in 2003, and I think he just started his running, his running career. And this is a global brand. It was not just Kenya. It was the Seeing is Believing ambassador across all our networks across the bank. So we always, you know, and when I go to World Athletics and you search Standard Chartered, you see a lot of athletes, a lot of names there. So when you see that as an event organizers, you're proud because of the impact that you're having on, you know, these young people. There's a story of a lady who just woke up one day, came, she won the 42 kilometer, got her 2 million, went back to Eldoret. So it's always interesting, the story that come out of it and the impact that it has in the community is always encouraging.
Yes, of course. And also, maybe when we come back, I'll be asking, what's the promise to the new kid now? You know, the Kimetos are the shining example, but how about the new kid, those who are looking forward? It will be interesting to see it as a gold label race, and now to the upcoming, I think that's like the competition is majorly, will improve majorly, right? And how will now the organizers vet or decide who features in this particular race? Now we talked about that. I'm talking to George Kariuki and David Lawrence from the Nairobi Standard Chartered Marathon. But now let's cross over to Narok County, where the inaugural Ma Cultural Week is happening at Sekenani Gate. And of course, it is a collaboration between Kajiado, Narok, Samburu counties that seeks to expose the Ma, to showcase the Maasai culture to the globe. And Irene Muchuma is on the ground, and she's feeding us on what's really happening in the celebrations of the Maasai culture.
Good morning, Akumu. We are coming to you live from the Masai Mara National Reserve. This is the inaugural Ma Cultural Week, one that is bringing the Ma communities from 4 counties. It's a 4-day event that will be hosting the Ma community from all over the country, and also some Ma community from the neighboring Tanzania. And this is one platform that the community is going to use to showcase their culture. I'm not alone from this side. My name is Irene Muchuma Odem.
And I'm Jackie Wambiru, joining you right here from the Masai Mara National Reserve. We shall be showcasing every activity right here, and we shall be keeping you updated on every cultural aspect taking place.
And from the Nosim FM, I have
Kioka Stephen Tuali. Tuko na mambo mengi hapa kuhusu mila yetu ya Kimaasai, na tutajifunza mambo mengi sana kuhusu mila na desturi ya Kimaasai. Leo tunaona tuko na manyimbo mingi tofauti kutoka Kajiado, Samburu, Laikipia, Altiamu, Narok na kila sehemu ya Maasaini, na bado tuko na mambo mengi ambayo tutajifunza tukiendelea.
Shukran. That is Stephen and Wamberu. We are coming live to you from the Masai Mara National Reserve. As I mentioned earlier, the Ma Cultural Festival has kicked off at the Masai Mara National Reserve Sekenani Gate. This is a platform that the Ma community will be using to showcase their rich culture, their music. And also, at the close of this 4-day event, there will be pageantry, so we'll be able to see the Miss and Mr. Masai Cultural Festival, and it is also an event that is expected to draw a number of delegates to this end. Tomorrow we're expecting His Excellency President William Ruto to grace the event, and one that is also attracting governors and a number of politicians to this part of the Ma community. Remember, Bokumu Ma community is one of the communities globally that are still considered to be holding tight to their traditions, and perhaps this is the opportunity for them to showcase why they really value their traditions, from their clothing regalia to the food they take. And talking about food, part of this showcase will be having the bit of nyama choma and meat, and to also be understanding the value of cattle in the Ma community. There's among the people that would go with their livestock for several kilometers just to find pasture for the livestock. Now, getting you back to what is happening here right now, a number of political leaders have arrived, and also a number of leaders from the Ma community, and also the tents have been labeled in such a manner that we are able to tell the varied communities that have been able to make their way here to the Masai Mara National Reserve. There is lots of entertainment going on. Women have been dressed to the event, and we can tell that one of the reasons why you should be here is to honor the culture of the Ma community. And just before further ado, let's get one of the locals here to tell us about this community. Please, let's start with the names.
My name is Larry Letolo, the Maasai Cultural Ambassador.
Tell me about this event. What are the expectations? It has kicked off right now.
Yes, first of all, you look lovely in the regalia. It's beautiful. This is the Maasai Cultural Festival for all Maasais in Kenya, and some are coming from Tanzania. We want to celebrate, to showcase our culture to the world, so that we are just appreciating it, so that people can see, people can also have a feel of it. And we've placed it specifically in Masai Mara National Reserve, our biggest heritage, so that people can come also go to the world, visit nyama choma. There's plenty, and everything is going on well.
What does it take for one to attend these events?
Nothing, just wear the way you are wearing Maasai regalia. The entry is free. We have food that will be served, so everything is good. We are very hospitable people. We love visitors, na tunasema karibuni sana.
Okay, part of the expectations from the audience is to understand the traditions and values of the Ma community. Remember, you are dominating 4 counties. So what are these particulars that we'll be looking into in the 4-day events?
Ours is just to celebrate. We have what we call Iloshon Kimasai. Iloshon is a different sub clans or sub tribes. We are around 16 in Kenya. All of them are represented in all these tents. So our big issue, our biggest wish is to celebrate first of all the cultures, to showcase the Iloshon, as we call them. Our expectation is just unity, to show the world that you are united through culture. Yes.
What makes the Ma community, from where you stand, to hold so tight to your traditions, one that has given you a global recognition?
We hold here our traditions because the Maasai have come all this way because of culture, and we are proud of it. It is our way of life. We live in it. Everything about us is inside our culture. There is no Maasai without culture, and there is no culture without Maasai.
Remember, this is taking place, thank you so much, this is taking place at the Masai Mara National Reserve, and it's also taking place during the wildebeest migration. So, Okumu, before, just besides the culture, we'll also be exploring the wildlife products. And I take you back to Broadcasting House for a commercial break before we get back to this end.
Vijana chapakazi wenye nguvu za ziada.
My youth, uko na talent ya kusing, spoken word, kucompose jingles ama any other unexploited artistic talent. Gava through Ministry of Information, Communication and the Digital Economy na KBC sasa wamekama up na project ya kupromote usanii called Studio Mashinani. Hizi ni studios ziko grassroots and they are fitted with high quality state-of-the-art equipment where you can produce quality audio and video music content for free. What's more, wanaoffer mentorship na talanta yako itakuwa promoted on KBC Channel 1 TV, Y254 na radio stations za KBC. Tembelea Studio Mashinani huko Comarox, Langata, Sauti House Mombasa, Kirwara huko Gatanga, Kitui next to Manyanyoni Chiefs Camp na Kisumu City wako hapo KBC station. Usilalie talent. This is your chance to commercialize and popularize your talent through Studio Mashinani.
She hasn't just taken this title, she's absolutely obliterated the whole field. 3:52.96.
It's a big stage, big names and big expectations. An immersive celebration of athleticism. More than 2,000 athletes from over 200 countries will compete in 49 events. Drawing inspiration from past memorable outings, Team Kenya is looking ahead for a remarkable feat in the forthcoming World Athletics Championship in Budapest, Hungary in Central Europe. Witness the wonders from Budapest, Hungary on 19th through to the 27th of August, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Every Monday evening, we take you back where the action happened live. We let you know what you missed, even if you were present.
And our goal is to continue supporting our own.
From the latest celebrity buzz,
fashion,
music,
and all manner of youth talents,
the Grapevine cameras rove all week to bring you the latest in the enormous entertainment scene.
Watch Grapevine every Monday at 10 p.m. and the rerun on Tuesday at 2 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1, baby.
Engage us on Facebook and Twitter, #Grapevine on KBC. Let us know what is happening in your area code, because you know what they say, if you did not see it on Grapevine,
then it most probably never happened. Bah!
Ain't nobody gotta tell you what you gotta do.
to you live from the Maasai Mara National Reserve, where the Ma Cultural Festival is currently underway. And remember, this event is taking place from Monday to Thursday, from the 21st of August to the 24th of August, where the showcasing of the Ma community culture will be taking place here at the Maasai Mara. And at the same time, this opportunity will be running concurrently with the wildebeest migration right here at the Maasai Mara. Remember, this event targets at least 10,000 guests here at the Maasai Mara during this event. There are a myriad of activities happening here, whereby we have the Manyata, which is set up. We shall be taking you there later on, but for now we are at the exhibitions where the exhibitors, or rather the vendors, have set up the spectacular artwork, this detailing of either blacksmiths or beadwork, where they're setting up here at the Maasai Mara to showcase the wonderful artwork, showcasing their culture. And if we can talk to one of the exhibitors right here, karibu sana. Kwa jina unaitwa nani?
Kwa jina naitwa Doris Sombet Kidinge. Tuko Maasai Mara, tuko Maasai culture. Tunaonyeshana vitu zetu zote za Kimasai, tunaonyeshana vile tunajua kushona, vile tunaweza shona shuka, vile tunaweza shona belt, vile tunaweza shona bangles, all Maasai attires ndio tunaonyeshana huku. Yes.
Na unapanga kuwa hapa kila siku hili katika hiki kipindi kikija kuwa siku ya mwisho, unapanga utakuwa umefanya lipi, ama unataka nini likuwe limetendeka?
Ninataka niwe nimefanya biashara. Hapa tumekuja kwa sababu ya kuonyeshana vitu na kufanya biashara, na pia tunapenda kama tunaweza pata network ya kazi kupitia hii Maasai culture.
Na maoni yako ni yapi wakati ambapo sherehe kama hii inaandaliwa? Ni vizuri culture zingine ziweze kufanya kama nyinyi katika Ma community vile ambavyo mmeweza kufanya hivi?
Ni vizuri kwa kila tribe kuonyeshana culture yao, ili wale watu wa biashara wadogo wapate kufanya biashara, kwa sababu leo najua tunaweza uza hapa kupitia hii Maasai culture. Yes.
Shukran sana. And if Mbugua, I can ask you to pan to my right now, there is so much happening here, where we have the Maasai shukas right here. We also at the same time have various different beadworks, where remember, it's not only the Maasai community showcasing their beautiful art, or rather it is also the Samburu community showcasing, also the Turkana communities showcasing their beautiful artwork here. And remember, these aims to showcase the Maasai culture, at the same time bringing members of the community together to promote their cultural practices, incorporating culture into conservation efforts, sensitizing or eliminating human wildlife conflict in conservation areas by providing an opportunity for conservationists around the world to meet and discuss conservation matters, alongside bringing the component of cultural and tourists right here at the Maasai Mara. And at the same time, today is the Ma Music Day, where over 50 sections from the Ma community will be displaying rather the song and dance. So we shall have song and jubilation happening right here at the Maasai Mara. And remember, this will, at the same time, the attachment of the Ma community with the kettle will also take center stage come Tuesday. Remember, this event is dubbed My Cow our heritage. And remember, the Ma community have 2 cattle brands and or colors, the red seer and the black steer are a uniform color code moieties among the southern Maasai who live mainly in Kajiado and Narok counties, as well as northern and southern Tanzania, and are used to determine leadership positions. And the traditional, and remember, at the same time, we shall have the Ma Fashion Day and the pageantry. And at the same time, we shall be having the Ma Sports Day that will be on Thursday, where we shall be seeing them javelin, jumping, among other among other activities that will be taking place. And at the same time, well, we have a blacksmith here. Hey, hello, hi.
Hi.
Tuambie majina yako tafadhali.
My name is Petri Lelenguya.
Tell us about your activity right here. We see you're a blacksmith. You've come to showcase your activities right here. Could you show us maybe a demonstration of how you're able to light the fire with that? And if yes, please, with the barrels, could you kindly show us how that is happening and also explain to us what exactly is happening?
Okay, so you are very welcome. My name is Petri. So I'm the blacksmith. I'm experienced knife, arrows, cowbells, axes, and many other things made of iron. I inherited the profession from my father, who was also a blacksmith, and my father also learned from my grandfather. It is a family tradition as the weapon makers for the Maasai and Samburu. These days, we buy the iron material from the hardware shops in the city, but a long time ago, we go to the northern Kenya, to a valley in Marsabit, whereby we collect the black sand that we melt and make iron out of it. So when my son grows up, he has to become a blacksmith after me.
So apprenticeship will take place.
Yeah.
And so what are these that you've made here?
Yes, the tools here.
All right. So right now he will show us what tools that he has been able to make with his. So he has spears. So what he is making currently is a spear.
So these days we buy the iron material from the hardware shops in the city. But a long time ago, our older generations have been going up to the northern Kenya to collect the black sand that we melt and make iron out of it. The tool that I am using here is my grandfather's tool, made from the black sand. It was passed from grandfather to my father, and father passed it to me. The tool also will go to my son, for he has to become a blacksmith after me. So the tool, it is the oldest tool that I have. It's 110 years old.
Well, there you have it. Well, those are some of the activities happening here at the Masai Mara National Reserve, and we shall be showing you more of these activities. So on the other end, there is it's called our pool, where the Ma community will be showcasing, rather they will be showcasing their cuisine, whereby they are roasting meat the traditional way, and they will be able to tell us why they place their meat on a certain tree. We shall get to know which tree that is. And on the other end, right at the far left of the field, we have whereby they've set up the manyatas, and in the middle of that there is the cow pen, where the animals remember that's how, so we get to learn about how the homestead looks like, and why the cows are located at the middle of the manyatas. So these are some of the things that will be happening, and at the same time today we get to witness the Ma music, and remember 50 sections from the Ma community will be showcasing the song and dance, and we get to see the women dance. We get to learn what type of dances, what type of songs. So it's all color, it's all dance, it's all jubilation right here from the Masai Mara National Reserve. Well, my name is Jackie Wambiru, and I shall be keeping you updated on what is happening right here from the Masai Mara National Reserve. Let's talk later on. I'll hand you back to studio at Nairobi.
Okumu, how are you once again? We are coming to you live from the Masai Mara National Reserve, taking over from Jacqueline Wambiru, and we are here to showcase you the culture of the Ma and also to bring you the sights and sounds from the Masai Mara National Reserve. As I earlier told you, there will be the bit of Nyama Choma, the tasty Nyama Choma, but this one now will be the one prepared by the Ma community. And just to get the details where we are right now, I can see a number of men from the Ma community are the one preparing the meat, but I would love to understand from an expert, what does this mean? Let's start with your name.
Kwa majina mimi naitwa Eric Kaswe. Tumeandalia watu kwa siku ya leo, tumeandalia nyama choma, tumeandalia chemusha, tumeandaa damu, kuna soup, kuna miti shamba. Kwa hivyo kwa siku ya leo vyenye tunakumbuka siku ya culture yetu, mahali tulitoka, mahali tunaelekea, tumepata kuandaa hizo hapa mahali hapa leo.
Hii nyama naona inatengwa kwa mara 2-3 hivi. Kuna kiwango ingine inawekwa kando, kuna ingine ni choma, kuna ingine ina mafuta. Ina umuhimu gani hususan na hii shughuli?
Kwa hii shughuli tumeweka nyama tofauti tofauti kwa sababu kama sisi desturi yetu ya Wamasai, kutakuwa na nyama ya wazee, kutakuwa na nyama ya vijana. Kwa hivyo na kuna hiyo nyama chemusha ambayo yesi kuliwa pahali pamoja. Sasa kutakuwa na groups kadhaa mahali hapa, kutakuwa na wazee na nyama yao, kutakuwa na vijana na nyama yao, kutakuwa na mashindano ya nyama, kutakuwa na hizo yote ikiendelea mahali hapa.
Na hii nyama unaona tutaikula saa ngapi hivi?
Hii nyama itakuliwa kuanzia saa 6 ikielekea hadi saa 7:30 ndio tutaanza kukula nyama, tutaanza sherehe yetu rasmi, tutaanza na maombi ya desturi yetu ya Maa, alafu ndiposa tuweze tukule. Hata jinsi unapoona hapo chini kuna miti specially imekelewa nyama kama sahani. Si hatutumii sahani bali tunatumia hiyo miti especially ya msituni.
Na kuna masharti ama kuna ratiba tunafuata wakati tunaweza kupatiwa hii nyama kama sisi ambao tumeshuhudia hii shughuli ya leo?
Kuna masharti kwa sababu tutaenda na age groups. Kwa hivyo watu wanapoenda kukaa kukula nyama, kutakuwa na groups. Hatutajumuika wote kusanyika, kutakuwa na age groups. Alafu jinsi hata unavyoona mahali hapa, mahali tunapikia nyama, nafikiri umeona ni wazee tu ndio wako kwa jikoni. Si kama vile wamama watachanganyika kwa choma ama hiyo chemusha, ni wazee wako kwa jikoni. Maana sisi tunaamini ile chakula mama hizi choma nyama apee mzee. Ni wazee ndio watakuwa kwa jikoni, lakini tukikuja kujumuika wote tutakula pamoja, lakini wamama watakaa kando na wazee kando, vijana tutaenda na marika.
Ndio ninaelewa ni tamaduni ya Kimasai, lakini ina umuhimu gani? Kuna neno gani inaweza fanyika kama nitasema niingie jikoni kama mwanamke nikae na nyinyi hapo nitengeneze hiyo nyama?
Sasa kama sisi unaona sasa kwa msituni mama hisi ingia, akiingia hapo wasea wanaanza kudharau hiyo nyama, hawezi kula juu mama ameona hiyo nyama, ama hawezi amini nyama itakuwa mzuri mama akichoma. Yeah.
Shukran sana. Mbali na nyama kuna chakula gani ingine tunatarajia kukula na hii nyama?
Leo hakuna chakula ingine itakuliwa, ni nyama peke yake. Tunakaribisha wote mkunywe damu, soup, miti shamba. Leo ni hiyo tu juu tunakumbuka, hata itakuwa annually tunakumbuka mila yetu.
Shukran sana. That is one of the elders here from the Ma community, Okumu, telling us about the value of these meat that you're seeing on your screens. And we are going to also have nyama choma, nyama chumsha, as we locally put it back home. But at least we have been able to carry a few tips in understanding the reason why women were not allowed to get to the kitchen. The men will not be comfortable to take that meat. But then it's not just about the meat showcase that we are having here. We are also having lots of entertainment where the Maasai community is showcasing their dancing skills. The jumping ceremony, one of the key tourist attractions to anyone visiting Ma associated destination. For instance, the Masai Mara National Reserve, and as you understand, it's also the high season in the tourism calendar. So this is expected to boost the tourism in the Narok County and its environs. There's if we're going to with the bookings and inquiries which have been done in the Masai Mara National Reserve and outside that, all through to Narok town, they are standing at 99%. This is associated with the Ma Cultural Festival, which is taking place at the Masai Mara National Reserve, Sekenani Gate. So there'll be lots more to take care of from this end, and we will be showcasing to you lots of events. This, as we expect President William Ruto to grace this event tomorrow. The pictures on your screen are the Maasai's dancing. Remember, we talked about the jumping ceremony. This has a meaning among the Ma community. Is mostly done by the Morans who are graduating to adulthood, and their regalia is also different from another Ma individual. For example, the elderly in the Ma community, they are those ones that the regalia that you would not be allowed to use when you are going for the jumping ceremony. And we are also joined by Stephen Olchok from Nosim, who traveled with us, and we are representing the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, the official partner to the Maasai Cultural Festival. Stephen?
Asante sana Irene kwa nafasi hiyo. Leo tuko na sherehe muhimu sana kwa jamii hii ya Wamaasai. Na sherehe hii leo tumeona vile nyama inaandaliwa. Kuna njia speciali ya kuandaa hiyo nyama, na kuna vile hiyo nyama unaona ni wasee peke yao ndio wanachoma nyama. Kuna nyama inatengenezwa na mafuta pekee, alafu kuna vile ilitengenezwa kwa njia mwafaka kabisa. Na pia leo unaona kuna nyama choma. Hii ni nyama choma imetengenezwa kwa wageni specially ambao watakuja kukula hii ikifika nafasi hiyo. Alafu leo tuko na sherehe inatufunza mengi kama sisi jamii ya Wamaasai, kwa sababu inasema Maasai inamaanisha ni jamii ya wafugaji, ni jamii ambayo ina muhimu sana kwa ufugaji. Na ng'ombe, tunachukua ng'ombe kama ni kitu muhimu sana. Hakuna sherehe inafanyika bila ng'ombe, maziwa ya ng'ombe. Watu wakibarikiwa, vijana na wasee pia wanapobariki wanatumia mafuta na pia maziwa. Ni sherehe muhimu pia. Tunaona tukielekea pande hiyo nyingine, manyimbo sitakuwa sinaimbwa kwa njia tofauti tofauti, jamii tofauti tofauti. Tuko na Purko, tuko na Aldamat, tuko na Kekonyokie, tuko na Altiamus kutoka Baringo, tuko na wale wametoka Laikipia, na wote watakuwa wakiimba nyimbo tofauti za Kimaasai. Na pia tumeona wametengeneza, itakapofika jioni tutakuwa na tutakuwa na mafunzo mengi kwa watoto, vile wazee walipokuwa wakifundisha watoto wao mila na desturi. Na umuhimu sana sana ya sherehe hii ni kufunza kufunza jamii umuhimu wa mila, kwa sababu wengi wao wamesahau, wengi wao wameingia masomo na wakasahau mambo na mila. Tutakuelezea mengi kwa sababu tumekita kambi hapa kutoka leo mpaka siku ya Alhamisi tutakapotamatisha sherehe hii. Ninarudisha kwa mwenzangu Irene atueleze mengi na yale yote yanayojiri.
Steve, kabla uende ningependa utueleze theme ya shughuli hii na kimaa.
Inajiita Maasai Tai Orkeretilang. Inamaanisha ng'ombe yangu desturi yetu, na inamaanisha ng'ombe iko na umuhimu sana kwa jamii ya Wamaasai. Hiyo inamaanisha ni ng'ombe yangu. So hakuna sherehe yoyote ama hakuna jambo lolote linafanyika kwa jamii ya Wamaasai bila kuleta ng'ombe, kuhusisha ng'ombe kama maziwa, kama mafuta, kama mambo mengi. Hata unaona kwa sherehe vile leo ni nyama peke yake. Watu hukula nyama, kuna chakula ingine, ni nyama peke yake. Na unaona vile wanaandaa. So sisi bila ng'ombe, sisi si Wamaasai.
Shukran sana Steve, na pia mwenzangu Wambiru. Tunatoka kwako moja kwa moja kutoka mbuga ya wanyama ya Masai Mara National Reserve, and I'm taking it back to Bernard Kumu to Broadcasting House.
Indeed, that's Irene Muchuma, Stephen Tuwali, and Jackie Wambiru, KBC's Legion, represented at the Maasai Tai, meaning ng'ombe yangu desturi yetu, celebrations of the Maasai culture being held in Narok at Sekenani Gate. That's in Narok, Masai Mara. And remember that that particular celebrations bring together Kajiado County, Narok County, and Samburu County. The dances that you just saw was by the Ilchamos. And maybe I'll ask Irene Muchuma if she comes back. Did she come back with any part of the Orngatuny? If you know what Orngatuny is, but a lot of Enkiteng on show there. That's the cow, the meat that's being made there for the celebrants who will attend that particular function. This is the Sports Check. Welcome, Bernardo Kum right here, and of course before then with David Lawrence and George Kariuki from the Nairobi Standard Chartered Marathon. Let's speak from where they've really left it, right? They really set the pace for us now.
Culture.
Yes, culture, and how this marathon is, fashioned to showcase culture, Kenyan culture.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. In the marathon, one of our key objectives is to promote tourism into Nairobi city. Number one, our route is along the Southern Bypass. I think the other day we were doing our route, Rekis, and we saw a lot of giraffes near the watering station. So that is always an interesting bit of it. So as part of our marathon, when you run, you're running next to the national park, which is a heritage site for us. Along the route, we're really trying to bring in a lot of activities, and you're talking to bombers of Kenya that can actually showcase a bit of culture on the route. Imagine running along the Southern Bypass, and then you get to a zone, and it is a cultural zone, and we showcasing Maasai culture. And we're also talking to Magical Kenya who are coming on board to also come up with sports tourism proposition. So for guys traveling into Nairobi or even Nairobi and so on to maybe enjoy some a trip post or before the marathon, what is that experience we can give them even at the village when they finish with the run? What is that experience that we can give them to showcase our culture and our tourism destination? So that was really empowering for us.
Yes, yes, George, and maybe we can pick it from before we went for the before we linked up with Irene and company in Narok about if the race attains the gold status, how will this improve the competition?
Well, for one, I know we shall have international athletes coming on board. We shall have foreigners, many foreigners coming on board, because once it is having a world an MMM status, definitely those who want to qualify for other major events. They want to test their potentials here in this particular race. We have tried to make sure that the course that is the route for the marathon is within the standards acceptable to world athletics. The terrain, the valleys and the and the hills and all that, we make sure that each kilometer doesn't go beyond each kilometer is the uphill doesn't go beyond 1 meter. Yes.
And that's what some of the regulations that we've seen athletes setting records elsewhere, but they are not regarded.
Yes. Yes. One of the reasons why records are set and they are not regarded is because one, the course must be properly measured, it must be certified, and once it is certified, if a record is broken, then that record is ratified after the World Athletics send in a third eye to watch on the route again and to reconfirm. Yes.
Yes, indeed. And maybe talk about, David, talk about the expected numbers this year.
So this year we are targeting 25,000 runners. I think as I was checking, we are slightly above 5,000 registrations. And these are both individual and corporates. And we're getting a very good response from our corporate registrations. So yes, we're targeting 25,000 runners. We have I think 7 race categories. The 21-kilometer wheelchair race, that will start at 5:45. And then we have the 42-kilometer race, that will start at 6 a.m. in the morning. We have the 21-kilometer, both male and female, that will start at 6:45. And then we have the 10-kilometer that will start at 8 a.m. And then the family fun run that will start at 9:30. We also have 2 races for corporate challenge. So corporates register a team of 5. They come, it's like a relay, which is very interesting for corporates who want to run as a team. And then we have a CEO challenge that we introduced this year. This is just an executive race targeting our CEOs from different organizations. You can participate in any race that you want. The fee is at 20,000 for the executive races, and that will get you a training program. It will get you into the VIP tent. It will get you a nice package to just appreciate you, because you see the importance of creating that network for the executives as well. To run together, make it fun, practice together. Come challenge yourself on 29th of October, which is actually the date for our marathon. And then I've talked about the route along Southern Bypass. Venue is Uhuru Gardens. Yeah. So registration is open on www.nairobimarathon.com. If you're an individual or a CEO, you can go to our website and register. If you're a corporate, there are contacts provided on that website. You can write to us. We'll reach out to you, because the corporate registration is different. We'll create a link for you, set up the targets for you, and work with you through the registration process.
George, what informed the change of times, the revised times?
Yeah, the revised times have been set such that the finish time is very important. Also, the laps that are in between. We are using the Southern Bypass, which is 2 separate roads going different directions, and they are carrying over 5 events. Actually, they are including the corporate relay and the executive. So it's more than 5. Actually, the races are 5, but the 6th one will be the corporate relay and the CEO's run, which is a small race, could be 2-3 kilometers or so, or 5. But then the times that have been set, say like the start time for the wheelchair race, you can see it is going to start very early in the morning. 5:45. 5:45 is very early, but then that race The first finishers, we're expecting them 1 hour, 10 minutes, 15 minutes there for the wheelchair.
Yes.
Then at that time, when they are coming in, we are going. Say from 5:45, add 1 hour, it will be 6:45. 6:45, the full marathon will have started at 6. So it will be ongoing at a different direction while these guys are coming to finish their race. So you see, there's no
race interruption.
Race interruption. Then when we start the 42 kilometer, which is the main race, which is going to start at 6, we expect that race the first finisher to arrive slightly before or at 2 hours 10 minutes. Slightly before, because I can see this will be a very fast race this year. So even if they come at 2 hours 8 minutes, they'll arrive at the finish line long before the half marathon comes, the finishers for half marathon comes in, because we shall have a lot of time in between. We shall have like half an hour in between to usher in the finishers, the top finishers, and most likely the top 50 finishers for the full marathon. Then we shall have the 21 kilometers, the half marathon race, that we shall that's going to start at 6:45. That one will finish at about 1 hour 2 minutes. The first finisher, we expect him either at 1 hour dead or 1 hour 1 or 2 minutes. That's the time we're expecting that athlete. So that athlete will be there at 7:46, 7:47 there in the morning. So the first finisher, we are expecting him at 7:47 at the finish line. And at 7:10 or so, or at 7:20 or 7:30, we shall have cleared with the top finishers for the full marathon. So you can see there is no interruption at the finish line. So the cameras can be able to capture the finishers per distance and get them clearly, because the finish line this time is wide enough. It's about 15 meters wide, and we have splitted it into segments where every category of finisher, they will be ushered into their finish line. Yes, and this time it is going to be really a professional race. Just watch.
Yes, and David, that's the point that George has put his full stop, his sentence there. It's going to be a professional marathon. And in my mind, I'm thinking it's like a candidate event for the gold label.
It is, and that's the intention. If you look at the planning and the detail we put into it, is to make sure that we get that label that we're looking for, and also to make sure that we guarantee a good experience for the runners. I think we learned from last year where there was a bit of interaction of the races along the route and a bit of overcrowding at the finish. And if you're going for your best time, that's not what you want as a runner. And that, I think, informed the revision on start times and also the finish protocols, as George is highlighting. And we've created what we are calling a green zone that is fully barricaded from anybody except the runners and the AK officials and a few marshals, so that as you finish, you're ushered into, you go pick your medal, pick your water, pick your fruit. So there's a lot of stakeholder engagement that has happened. One of them, of course, with Athletics Kenya. We've spoken to the running clubs, getting their feedback. We've spoken to experts, in the industry who've had experiences, either running other big marathons, and that has brought us to the plan that we see. If we execute it as well as we intend to, we should have a very good experience for our runners.
Yes, and indeed, talking about the talent that's in the country available, being a country that's known in long distance running, that means that we are awash with people who have the knowledge to run such marathons. George, in the previous editions, have you had cases where who who won, who did finish, where has been disputed, and maybe how have you planned to tackle that?
Yeah, those cases are normal. Those cases are normal in most of the events worldwide.
Yeah, you see someone with a sports shoe,
yes,
you know?
Yeah, what happens, you saw the Njogu during one of the
editions,
races, editions in the Nyayo Stadium. Yes. So these are issues that we deal with every other time we have an event. They are not exceptional. It's and they are acceptable because they hype up the race, and it keeps us to gets us reminding reminding us that last year we had this or the other year.
Yeah.
Well, for one, these races, what we have done in this particular case, we have made sure that Stanchart adheres to the rules, and one of the rules is the ADAC.
Yes, the
we are at category A in Kenya. We are at the edge, just about to be kicked out of World Athletics, and we have to be very, very careful. So what we have done to start with, we have made sure that ADAC is on board for dope testing, and you know how sly some of the athletes are. We have had cases. Actually, my what I have liked, especially in last year's edition, was a situation where we had this former world class athlete, the girl, I can't remember the name, but she was she had been tested and she was banned for some time. Now the ban is over, and many of them whose ban is over and they have been cleared by World Athletics, they have started coming on board. Actually, she was the fifth. She was number 5 in last year's competition. A world-class athlete. This girl, I can't remember the name. I'll remember and I'll let you know. But this is one person and many others that are making a comeback using Stanchart because they know there is competition there. And you also know that most of our senior athletes, they shy from running our events. Why? Because they fear the challenge at home. And you know, here in Kenya, everybody is an elite. And everybody can beat anybody. Even Kipchoge cannot dare, try with this young upcoming athletes. Every other day we have a champion back at home. Yes. Let's go outside. That's a different story. But and whoever wins Stanchart, they never come back for a second time. Most rarely they come back to compete in our Stanchart events.
Nobody comes to defend the title.
If they come back, they never win it back.
Yes.
You can't defend it. I think there's only one person who's defended the 10 kilometer.
Only one.
But full marathon, half marathon, they come back, but there's a new young boy.
That's a statement on the competitive quality of the marathon.
The quality of the athletes. Very good quality. Because we work with coaches, and maybe George would highlight that. We work with different training camps, and that's where we do our recruitment for the young upcoming elite runners who will fly into Nairobi. They come, they do their thing. So yes, so we work with very training camps to register our top talent.
Yes, and George, maybe you mentioned about doping and some of the steps that the government is doing in conjunction with ADAC is to establish the laboratory in Eldoret. And last week, the CS for Health, Susan Ahumicha, was in Eldoret launching the Kemri lab. How crucial will this be in the fight against doping?
Our government has taken it very seriously, and World Athletics is appreciative of whatever the government is doing. Because what has come up of late is that we have to fight this thing, all of us. Athletics Kenya, the government of Kenya, World Athletics. We all have to fight this this dragon. And by so doing, the government came on board, and it has saved Kenya a great deal, because Athletics Kenya, when we were at the verge of being banned, the government came on board, and they gave funding. They gave funding for the anti-doping tests to be done. You heard what the minister said. They gave about
it's now like 500 million.
500 million
a year, yes.
Yeah, a year to help us on curbing this menace.
Yeah. What do you think is fueling it?
Well, the urge to earn. The athletes want to get quick money. They feel that possibly if they take this stuff, they'll have the energy to do it faster, and the earlier the better for them. They don't care about tomorrow, and that's the problem that we have.
Yes, and the complexities of there are cases where in some cases it's state sponsored. Like we had Russian athletes who, they were assisted hugely by the government to do that, but in Kenya it's individual.
Yes, you see, the problem with Russia is that the state was somehow
involved. Yes.
Yeah, involved, and that's why you have seen most of the athletes in Russia. They have lost their status, their records, and they have completely. They are people who don't have a state today. We don't want Kenya to get to that level. And since the government is in support of what Athletics Kenya is doing and what World Athletics wants, for sure we won't get there. But we are praying, and our president, Athletics Kenya, is working so hard within the federation and without to make sure that we have those seminars all around the country and educate our own athletes so that they can get out of this mess.
Yes, and of course, the retired Lieutenant General Jack Tuwei was recently elevated to the vice president at the World Athletics, so his position will be of great influence to Kenyan athletes, Kenyan athletics in the country. Yes,
actually, we are very happy for him. we feel like we now own the world.
Once we have to add, because I think as an event, we are in support of what the government is trying to do and what Athletics Kenya is trying to do around anti-doping. And as George was highlighting, actually that is our critical partner. Last year's, we don't pay our prize money before the results are out.
So how long does it take for the results to be out, for the doping results?
It took 2 months. By December, we knew the results, 100% clean. That's why we pay our money. And our elite runners will tell you, before the results are out from anti-doping and clear direction from Athletics Kenya and ADAC that you can now pay the prize money, they can't get it. And if you come back, you're not clean, which fortunately we've not had a case. If you come out not clean, we're not just going to pay you.
Wengine wakikula kichwa squirrel.
Yes, so I mean, we are very supportive and happy that General is now in World Athletics. So even the label is coming. We have our inside people there. We have Ibrahim, who is a senior person within World Athletics. So, and he's our race director. So I think we have the right partnerships, and you're working with the right partners to ensure that the event is supportive of what is happening in the world of athletics.
Then quickly, David, would you talk about what informed the put in place of future makers? Why you thought it was good to switch focus to that? What informed that?
Yeah, so 2019, we achieved what we had set to do with Seeing is Believing. And we asked ourselves, what more can we do to support. Now that you have your site back, what more can we do to support you? And we looked at 3 pillars, education. So education, and this is financial education, financial literacy, which is actually our core business as a bank. So we are working with different partners under a program called GOAL. And GOAL is targeting young people within the slum areas with empowerment, and it could be through education, through financial education, through entrepreneurship training, and actually financing some of those businesses. And we have interesting cases from, young ladies who've gone through tough times, low self-esteem, but now they're business owners. They've started their own businesses, a salon, and design. I know those two cases, and it's something that we're happy to do. If you look at entrepreneurship, I talked about women in tech, and that program. Over the years, we've invested a lot of money there. I think last year we raised around, let me say, 38 million from the event. But we invested more than that. We invested around $600,000 into Future Makers to support these different programs. Currently, under employability, we are working with 7 universities to support young people prepare for the job market. Sometimes it's the opportunities there, but I don't know how to package myself. I've just graduated. I don't know how to write a CV. I don't know how to talk about my capabilities. So because the CV will get you to the interview table, and then how do you handle yourself during an interview? So those soft skills, we saw a gap in our training programs, and we are really working with different communities to do that.
Yes, indeed. And maybe George, we can't. You are athletics coach, and what's happening in Budapest, Hungary, the 19th edition of the World Athletics. We've had 2 races that you are specialists in, 10,000 meters, Ethiopia running away with 1, 2, 3 among the ladies, while the men, of course, went to Uganda, then Kenya and Ethiopia. The wait for the gold goes on 24 years later.
Every edition of World Athletics Championship carries its own challenges. Last year we had the World Championship in Oregon, and we harvested good number of medals, but a little bit late.
Yes.
This year is no different. We are likely to get medals, so Kenyans should not panic. We are going to get medals, but I can bet the medals are coming from the ladies. Most of the medals are coming from the ladies. We have had a challenge. I think for us, we need to go back to the drawing board. We need to prepare a bit better than what we have been doing so far. I think we have assumed for so long that we are a country that is blessed with running, but those blessings must be at least be boosted a little bit with the technical knowledge and a bit of science and all that. We have not really taken action on that. We need our coaches to at least modernize,
the techniques of training.
Let them go back to training. Let them get a little of newness in whatever they are doing, so that we can get to the next level. Last year, I was just watching an example of my athlete in race walking. Last year, he was 4th in the world.
Gadimba, yes.
Yes, Samuel Gadimba.
Samuel Gadimba, yes.
He was 4th in the world, 1 hour 18. This year, he's 9th, 1 hour 18.
Yes.
Slightly better because he is now
qualified for the Olympics.
He has qualified for the Olympics. He has broken the African record once again in this championship. And also his own performance has improved. But you see, he's now moving backwards. The positioning is now, instead of improving, is now going back. We need to do something about it so that we can see whether we can improve on that. The same case applies. You can see our steeplechase men. If we get anything, we must
we'll be lucky.
Be lucky.
Yeah.
For men, for ladies, that's 100% we are going to get that.
Yes.
But for men, is very unlikely. Then we should go back to the drawing board. Yes. Let's not sit here and cheat ourselves that we are a potential. Other people are coming up. The record has gone to an Ethiopian in the steeplechase men.
Yes. And also the Moroccan El Bakkali. Yes.
And those guys are coming up. Everybody else wants to beat Kenya.
Yes, and
we must do something because we are on top there, next to USA. We must do something to make sure that we either remain there or move up, because everybody else is up on arms, trying to chase our glory.
Yes.
And we must protect it.
Yes, indeed. And it's no longer, what George is saying is no longer about natural talent. There must be a mixture of so many other factors, including modern ways of training, so as to, we go back to reclaiming the glory that we've had, the 3,000 meter steeplechase and other long distance races that Kenya has been. They all belonged to Kenya, but indeed, we need now, Kenya needs to work more harder. Remember that KBC Channel 1 is bringing you live the 19th edition of the World Athletics Championship, and today, of course, the session begins at 7:40 p.m. and Channel 1 will beam live the event. I've been speaking to George Kariuki and David Lawrence from the Stanchart Marathon, which is happening on 29th of October this year, and 35,000 runners are expected. Thank you so much, George and David, for coming to on today's edition of Sports Check. I'm Bernardo Kumu. Thank you so much for watching.